And we start in America, where this week Donald Trump's civil fraud trial kicked off. The former president is accused of falsifying business records and other financial untruths to the tune of $3.6 billion in order to get bank loans. During the trial, a massive order of McDonald's was delivered to the New York courthouse where the trial is happening. And look, they're doing Macca's Monopoly now. I think he was trying to get a get-out-of-jail-free card. Apparently his order, this is true, Donald Trump's order when he goes to Macca's is a vanilla milkshake, fries, a Big Mac and a fillet of fish.
Whoa.
And that combination of fish and milk is actually worse a crime than fraud. Staying with disgusting news, and athletes at the Paris Olympics are preparing for an infestation of bedbugs, which have taken over the City of Love just 10 months out from the Games. The blood-sucking parasites infesting homes, hotels and the catwalk at Paris Fashion Week. Locals are worried about what this means for Olympic hygiene, but athletes, well, for them, it's actually a nice change from the norm, catching crabs at the athletes' village. On the plus side, Victoria's decision to axe the Commonwealth Games looks pretty good now. Still in Europe and to Slovakia, where a driver was fined after his dog was busted behind the wheel of a car. The vehicle triggered a speed camera that showed a brown hunting dog driving a Skoda. The dog was going 10 kilometres over the speed limit, or 70 kilometres in dog years. The dog also ran a red light, but in his defence, it did look grey. Meanwhile, back home in Victoria, Meanwhile, back home, new Premier Jacinta Allen in Victoria took a swipe at Shadow Minister for the cost of living David Southwick, who it turns out owns 17 properties. And you might think that someone who owns 17 properties, what would they know about struggling people? But that's not true. He actually has to talk to struggling Aussies all the time when he raises their rent. And speaking of the cost of living crisis, it turns out high petrol prices are causing Aussies to steal $85 million of petrol every single year. My car runs on LPG, which is much harder to steal. It never stays in the bag when you're trying to blow it in there. Now, this whole thing, though, is being made into a brand new film, Ocean's BP. But if you are looking to heist some petrol, I heartily recommend a Slovakian dog as your getaway driver. And finally, Alaska's Fat Bear Poll kicked off this week. This is a real thing that happens every year. The annual poll is to find out which grizzlies have stacked on the most guts. It's a great time for fat bears and a harrowing time for salmon everywhere. This year's favourites include Walker, who doesn't do a lot of it, Grazer, who does do a lot of it, and of course, Chunk. And if punters looking for a long shot for fattest bear, there's currently one chowing down on some McDonald's in a New York courthouse who could be with a shot, and that was...